Hello ladies and gentlemen, hi, I'm the Cuban assassin, Richie Acevedo for Cuban's Corner, exclusively right here on WrestleHustle.com, YouTube, and now also part of WestVirginiaProWrestling.com. Fans, I like to take a time and talk about where some of the fans have emailed me about, I made a comment in the very first Cuban's Corner about I would talk about literally anything such as UFOs and Bigfoots, being more of a comical kind of humorous kind of a thing I was doing, but nonetheless I had gotten some emails on my thoughts and beliefs of such things as UFOs and Bigfoot. Well, even though it's not wrestling oriented, I will elaborate a little bit on UFO and Bigfoot because I've had my own UFO experience when I was a little kid, as well as a Bigfoot experience when I was a little kid, because I was raised in West Virginia and been out in the woods. Although I've never witnessed a Bigfoot, or what we call a skunk ape here, I've had some kind of encounters that's really unexplainable, such as stick knocking and rock throwing when you're the only guy in the middle of the woods going for a hike. These things are common to hear, but then again I just attributed most of it to plainly either that of a Bigfoot wanting me not to be in the area, or plainly just me hearing things in the woods. I have no facts to prove any of this other than my own assumption. As far as the UFO experience, I did witness a UFO when I was a little kid, and it was a really frightening experience, especially when you're a little kid. I never forgot this very day. So as far as my beliefs in Bigfoot and UFOs, I do believe that there is something out there. I do believe there are things that's unexplained to our level of knowledge this time, and that who knows what the possibilities are going to be out there in the universe or in our own world, because our own world is still unexplored. The oceans, the mountains are unexplored still. Even though you hear a lot of tree cutting down, our forests getting condensed, we still have a very large forest out there. I've traveled and wrestled in many of these forests and heard folklore stories of Bigfoot when I was in was it British Columbia, in Tecumseh is the name of the town. I wrestled there for Can-Am Wrestling Federation, and they tell stories about that, although I never witnessed anything while I was there. And like I said, I don't have any facts or physical evidence or any type of evidence, and you have to have that to make facts. So these are only my own personal experiences and opinions, no way reflecting that of WrestleHustle.com, YouTube, or West Virginia Pro Wrestling, or any other association that I talk about. But I do believe in some things. I mean, there are some things that I believe that aren't true, that has to have more facts, but I do believe there should be study cases in all these situations for us to be able to learn from. Now that I got that out of the way, I can tell you guys, if you want to learn more about certain things, you can watch these documentary films on the Discovery Channel, on the Learning Channel, National Geographic Channel. Also on True TV, you can watch Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theories and all these ideas and assumptions. I'm just only elaborating briefly on my own personal experiences for some of these comments or these emails and questions I had. Now, other questions I get is about what I think is really good about the wrestling industry from the past to the wrestling industry today. The wrestling industry of the past was a very entertaining sport. What I mean by very entertaining sport, I mean you could give out and be entertaining the match itself as far as character-wise, but your match itself, the performance, which has always been about the performance of the match for the fans. The performance is what we actually look at, and that's what gives the fans the suspension of disbelief to make them believe that this is a legitimate bout. And just so everybody knows, that wrestling matches still to this very day are considered exhibition bouts, which means they are still considered legitimate bouts, but no record keeping win-losses, due to the fact that wrestling's outcome is already been predetermined. We have the control of the outcome. Just like a certain type of exhibition boxing match, the outcome is controlled. It's just we have more of that, and that's been that way since the 1920s of the Ed Strangler Lewis days. I do believe that entertaining sport can make a comeback. I don't think it'll be just as big, because wrestling is transformed and evolved into more of a sports entertainment like. A word I don't really like to use, but it's what it's called, and it's the word that it is. And like I've said many times before, I'm not going to disagree nor argue about, something that's successful, and that is what is successful today in the wrestling industry. What's the name about wrestling today that I see is that wrestling is going through a big transformation again, that they're going to more of an older setup for the wrestling, and give them a little bit more performances than interviews. I mean, everyone I went to, they really hate watching a 2-hour program, and that an hour and a half of the program is more talk and skits than it is of wrestling action. People still like to see the performance of wrestling. One thing I like to give comment to is I recently noticed that The Miz had gotten the so-called WWE Championship title. A lot of people does not like The Miz because they think that he did not earn his way. Let me clarify something, alright? The Miz did earn his way into the WWE. I'm not defending The Miz. He can solely defend himself on these. I'm only making my own opinion and comment. He did earn his way. He did it in a different way than most others would do by using reality TV. But nonetheless, he did work on the independents, and he did bust his ass every night in the independents, as we all do. He may not be the best great wrestler that a lot of people will want him to be, but the thing is that what he does works. A lot of people hate him, and I like to compare The Miz to Joe Namath of football, because a lot of people pack the stadiums just to see Joe Namath get tackled or to prove him wrong, and yet he took them to the Super Bowl championship. And I'm going to tell you, The Miz earned whatever he got in the WWE. He did work his way up into it. He used a different format that shows how intelligent and smart that he is. He earned the United States Championship title. And thus far, I like to say and congratulate The Miz for getting the WWE Championship, because he's living a dream that we all live to have a part, to try to be part of. And he did earn his way in. Maybe not necessarily the way that I would have chosen or anyone else would have chosen, but nonetheless, he did earn his way in and worked his way from the bottom to the top. And like I said, I'm no way defending The Miz, because he don't need me to defend him. He has his own repertoire. He has his own portfolio. You can look back and you can see his accomplishments, and you can see that he did earn his way in. Just like a lot of people say the same thing about Triple H, and I totally disagree. Triple H worked from the bottom up, earned his way in. Their talent and performance in the ring and on the microphone and their look is what got them there, and not only that, most importantly, their intelligence on how smart they were about going about doing business and getting themselves booked. Fans, other wrestlers, my own colleagues, I just want to point out, if you want to be successful in this business, even though I may not have worked for Vince McMahon, and I am a second-generation wrestler, and he does love second-generation wrestlers, a lot of his people behind the office scenes and the agents don't like me too well because of how I've tried to get in myself. I don't blame them. Business is business, nothing personal. I don't hold them accountable one bit. I only hold myself accountable for the mistakes that I made on my own decisions and my own actions. I'm not going to sit here and dog and trash anybody that doesn't deserve it, but I'm not going to sit here and dog and trash people that's doing business, because it's nothing personal, it's only business. That's what this industry is about. It is a business, and not just a business, but a professional business. So we have to understand that very much, and keep in mind, we all try to strive to get to the top. You know, I'm 40 years old now. I have something that they probably don't want, and I'm not tall. I'm only 5'7", and I weigh 235 pounds. I did travel all over Canada and wrestled, and traveled all over the United States and wrestled in the Caribbean as well. I have wrestled people from Japan, England, Australia, from Germany, from Scotland, and I had one of the greatest memories of doing so. That's why I love this business, is because of the variety of people I met and got to have the opportunity to work with in the ring. I'm only as good as the person I got with in the ring, and that's absolutely true. For anybody that gives me whole credit for such good matches, which I do have good matches, it's because of the person that I was working with in the ring. You have good chemistry and it works out well. So fans, to be successful, you've got to find new ways to get to the WWE. Triple H, The Miz are proof of that, and plus they use their smarts and their intelligence of doing so. I suggest to everyone, if they want to make it to TNA or to WWE, that they must go about these ways of doing so. I think TNA is a very good promotion. It's a good place for anyone to go if they want to try to elevate to WWE. And I don't mean to disrespect TNA. WWE is the top notch in this profession. TNA is the second one that's in line, the second runner-up. But like I've always said, if there was a third, it doesn't make a difference. If you're using Olympics and you want a medal, regardless if it was gold, silver, or bronze, you still want a medal. So for the people who doubt that, to think TNA is not as legitimate as the WWE, I disagree. I think that TNA is just as much of a good company as WWE, and I suggest everyone to find their ways to get into either the TNA or the WWE. These days, paying your dues is about trying to find your way to get to the top. As before in the past, paying your dues was about paying your part of the dues and being part of the business itself. Back then you had territories, you was traded like you was a football player, basketball player, or baseball player. These days, you're not going to be traded anywhere. You're either going to be in the TNA, you're going to be in the WWE, you're going to be somewhere in the national wrestling scene, or you're going to be somewhere in the independents. And I will never use the word dreaded independence for the simple fact that I don't think the independence is dreaded. I think independence is great. It's a good place to start because you legitimately start from the bottom and you work your way up to the top. So let's keep in mind, let's go ahead and respect those who found their ways in to the top, who earned their way, and let's just all enjoy what we love and what we call pro wrestling, or you want to call it sports entertainment. Let's enjoy what these guys have to give and offer us. And let's look back and respect those who paved the way for us to this very day. This is the Cuban Assassin, Richie Acevedo. I'll see you next week on Cuban's Corner right here on WrestleHustle.com, YouTube, and now West Virginia Pro Wrestling. See you then, fans. Take care.